G'day YouTube, Max right here, and today we are looking at, are we at a cycle top, are we at a short-term top, or are we at no top at all, and we're just going to keep on this epic rampage that Bitcoin is currently on. Let me know in the comments below. We're going to try and answer that question right here in this video, so let's get to it. So what I wanted to draw your attention to here, and forgive me by the way, I'm sitting in a hotel room in Washington DC for the protest/rally, whatever you want to call it, tomorrow. And I don't have my mouse with me, so I'm not as efficient on the charts as I might like to be. So what we're looking at here is this is the entire history of Bitcoin. So from 2011, pre-2010 really, all the way up to today. And we are on the logarithmic chart, so please take note of that. This is the logarithmic chart. So what I wanted to draw your attention to is the two really crazy bull market years that we've had previously, and I think 2021 will go down in history as another one. So here is 2017, and you can kind of see everything you need to see from this, right from even this zoomed out place, right? It's this really gentle, smooth ride up. You'll notice that we never really get too far away from the 21-week moving average. We get, just I've done it before, you get about 100%, 110% up to the 20-week, away from the 20-week moving average, and then come back down towards the 21-week moving average. And then I think, let me get in here, I think at the peak of December 2017, it gets up to about 170% away from the 21-week moving average. But let's come into 2013. It's a little bit different. It's a funkier year right there. So let's see, where are we looking at? Okay, what you're looking at on the screen here is pretty much, here's December 2013, here's January 2013, you're looking at 2013 for the most part. So what you'll notice is this 2013 had a very, very different structure. It went absolutely ballistic, just on a ridiculous tear, and ended up, let's look at it right here, it went up 600% over the 21-week moving average, right? Right now we're at like 90 or 100 or something like that. We're at, in 2013, it went to 600% over the 21-week moving average mid-year. And then, in all of that mayhem, then it crashed down from 270 down to 50. And that represented an 80% loss. And I want you to think about this. This happened in the middle of a year where Bitcoin went up 100x. It started 2013 at $12. It ended at $1,200. In that year, Bitcoin went up 100x. April, May of that year, it came down 80%. So the crazy, it's just obscene. And you'll notice it even went below the 21-week moving average here. That's pretty significant. Because in 2017, it never went below the 21-week moving average. But here, we spent a good 6, 7, 8 weeks below the 21-week moving average. And that is part, the markets, the bigger the overextension, the bigger the recoil has to be. And so when it went up 600% over this, even though it was in the middle of, probably, I think it was Bitcoin's best year, except for maybe 2011 or something, it's like very first year or something. I think 2013 was its best year ever, and it's smack dab in the middle of that. It goes below the 21-week moving average and pulls back 80%. So just think about that. So let's translate that into, okay, what does that mean to today? What if Bitcoin was more like 2013 and less like 2017? What would that look like? Well, the first thing we have to say is what happens if in the next 3 months by April, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but let's just take a look what it means. If Bitcoin goes up 600% above the moving average, and let's not even extrapolate where the moving average would be, let's just take it from here. Where is 600%? No, that's in the thousands. That's here. That puts Bitcoin at, not that far, but pretty close to $100,000, right? Imagine if in the next few months, Bitcoin rockets up to $100,000 and then crashes down 80% back to $20,000 and then keeps going up to God knows what, 500,000, $1 million by the end of the year. What an insane wild ride that would be. I don't think that is going to happen, but we are seeing something that, what I'm seeing here is that a divergence from what happened in 2017. The we are just the explosiveness of this move, the earliness of the move, meaning it's happening much closer to the previous halving. It's happening much earlier in the year. And so, actually, is that correct? I'm not sure if that is correct about it's happening closer to the halving. The halving in 2016 happened in July. The halving in 2016 happened in July. The halving in 2020 happened in May. So it happened 2 months earlier. So you could argue that we would expect this bull run to start 2 months earlier. And so that's something to consider. It's okay to start a little bit earlier in more of the halving year as opposed to the following of the halving year, because the halving happened a little bit earlier in the year. Something to consider. But what I'm seeing with the explosiveness of this move and the earliness of this move, it seems to me it's more likely that we're going to do something similar to 2013 as opposed to 2017. Meaning we're saving up our big pullbacks for one big pullback and not having lots of little ones along the ride, like in 2017. Now, there's another alternative perspective. The alternative perspective is this time is different. This time, something has completely changed. And I think I said it in my previous video. Michael Saylor, he said something which I think is really, really important to consider. He said, we are entering something different. This is very, very different. For the first 10 years of Bitcoin's life, it was this contrarian bet. It was a questionable bet. It was a speculative bet. It was something to do with a little bit of your portfolio for shits and giggles, for the adventurous type people who had a high risk appetite. It was for 1 or 2% of the population to put 1 or 2% of their money into Bitcoin. Now, as Bitcoin will do this year, cross over into its over $1 trillion market cap, and it will just announce itself as being on the scene as a major asset class that institutions, sovereigns, pension funds, retirement vehicles, all these different things can now invest in Bitcoin. It's a new time, and it's no longer this crazy speculative thing. We don't know what's going to happen. We know Bitcoin is going to be massive. We know it's going to be significant. And now we're transitioning from 1% of the people investing 1% of their money on this speculative bet into this being a real asset class that you want on your balance sheet, which means now all of a sudden, 100% of the people have 20, 30, 40, 50% of their balance sheet on into Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor said, this is different. This is different. This is going to be a very, very fast moonshot that is going to rock your world. And so for that reason, we can talk about pullbacks and 80% pullbacks and should we wait? And it's fun to do. And if you're trading, this is what you do because you're getting in and out, in and out, in and out. If you are a long-term Bitcoin holder, you believe in the promise, you believe in the fact that this is a central bank killer, you believe that in 10 years this is going to be the premier asset in the world, then you can't afford to be waiting for pullbacks. You got to get yourself in. And yet, because here's the thing, let's go back to 2013. Went up to 260, came back down to 50, and then was over $1,000 by the end of the year. Even if you bought at the exact top of that 260, even if you messed that up and bought at the 260, you still tripled your money by the end of the year, right? So just so you know, we want you don't want to miss out on 2021. It is going to be epic. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think is most likely to happen? Is it going to be more like 2013? Is it going to be more like 2017? Or is it going to be like Michael Saylor says, which is just a parabolic move into the stratosphere this year, and maybe with no massive pullbacks and spending weeks below the 21-week moving average? Let me know in the comments below what it is that you think. I'll speak to you guys soon. I'll see you then.